Good afternoon. Today we will discuss feasibility study, the topic of SAD, system analysis and design. Today we will discuss actually what is feasibility study and the types of feasibility study. Now, before starting any concept, we should must aware of that what actually it is that we are going to implement or we are going to study. The feasibility study, it is a measure of how beneficial or practical the development of a software system will be to an organization. This analysis reoccurs throughout the life cycle. Means that whenever we are going to build any system, before starting the preparation of that system, we must consider that if it is beneficial or if it is practical, then we can develop that system, then we can develop that software. I repeat this, what is actually feasibility study? It is a measure of how beneficial or practical the development of a software system will be to an organization. It is essential to evaluate cost and benefits of the proposed system. It is also the part of the feasibility study to evaluate the cost and benefit analysis, because suppose you are going to prepare any system, you are going to prepare any software and you are spending a lot of amount to prepare that, to develop that software, but you are receiving no benefit or very less benefits from that system. So, that system is not beneficial for you. So, before starting any project, any system or any software, we must evaluate the cost and benefit analysis for that specific systems. On the basis of the feasibility study, decision is taken on whether to proceed or to postpone the project or to cancel the project. These all depends upon the cost and benefit analysis of that systems only. Is it clear what actually the feasibility study is? I again repeat, before starting the development of any software or any product or any system, we must consider the feasibility study. What feasibility includes? That if the system that you are going to prepare, you are going to develop is beneficial for all, or is it practical and is it having a practical use in life, and the cost benefit analysis must be there in feasibility study. We usually use the term the system is not feasible. What the feasible means? Means it is not practical or it may not fulfilling the user's requirements or etc. Now, a feasibility study is used to test a new working system, which may be due to the current system may longer suit its purpose. Means that the purpose is not clear and you have developed a system and it is not fulfilling the requirement of the user. So, the system may longer use. Next is the business expanding, allowing to cope with extra workload. And next is customers are complaining about the speed and the quality of the work. Next is competitors are winning greater market shares due to an effective integration of a computerized system. Means that the system is said only feasible when it is fulfilling the requirement of the user, the who may she or he is using, and it is having a efficient system, having good speed and quality, and also competing the market. So, we say that the system that is developed as a feasible system, or we can say that it is fulfilling the requirement of that specific users that are using that systems. Now, next is what are the phases actually to develop any system. You must be aware of these all phases. First of all, when you are going to develop a system or a software, or you are going to prepare any product, what you use is, first step is the requirement analysis. Means what you need actually to develop that system. Suppose I take an example, you are going to prepare a database system, that is student database. First of all, the first step that you will do is what? You will collect the data. Obviously, you will collect the data, means a requirement analysis. What you need actually to prepare the system. This is one is the requirement analysis. Requirement definition, requirement definition documents. Obviously you prepare some documents for that, like how actually you will prepare your software. Then the analysis of that project, how you will organize these all requirements, what is the first requirement, what is the second. Again I take another example. Suppose you are going into the bank manager or anybody asks your account number only, and the information displays, means the account number is a specific thing, means here means that you have to prepare what is actually the requirement, then you have to prepare that model for that system. These are the first steps that you follow to prepare any system. After that requirement analysis you have done, you have collected all the database, you have collected that all on which you are preparing your project or on you are preparing your product or system. Now what is the next step after this requirement analysis? Next step is feasibility study. Means you have to check that the system that you are going to prepare, you have collected the data, is if it is feasible or not. Now feasible means what? Feasible means if it is practical, if it is beneficial, if it will fulfill the requirements of the user that he wants. This is the feasibility study. Means when you prepare your database, when you prepare any project, you have done the requirement analysis, then you have to study for that system that you collected all the database that you required, and the system you are going to prepare is feasible. Feasible means if it is practical, if it will compete the market, if it will give you benefits, how much cost you are expending to prepare this project, means that this is the feasibility study in your all SRS systems. Clear? Now these are the next phases, again analysis, design, verification and validation, and requirement specification. These after these steps are going on, but first of all, after requirement analysis you have to do what is the feasibility study. Now actually what is the feasible means? We usually use this word, the system is feasible, it is not feasible. When we use these terms, feasible means capable of being done or carried out, means the system is capable of being doing all the things that is on demand or by the demanded by the user. Next is capable of being used or dealt with successfully, and it is reasonably likely. These three terms can be used as a feasible word, synonymous for this feasible word. Now the questions that arises in our mind is what? Can we build a system, that may be a software, that may be a product, to meet the client's expectation? This is the first question in the feasibility study that strikes in our mind. The one is, can we build a system or the software to meet the client's expectations? Obviously when we prepare a system and we make a project that specifies us user requirements, then we say that the system is feasible, otherwise it is not feasible. Next is, can we build it under the constraints? Now what are the constraints under which we have to prepare the project? One is the cost, the major, the time and the personnel. Clear what type of concepts we include in the feasibility study? The main are these two. It must fulfill the expectations, means the requirements, means it should be practical, and then is the it must be in the under the cost and time and the personnel information. Now motivation is required. Motivation is what? Not everything that is imaginable is feasible. Clear? What we think, that whatever we think in our mind, it is not always that it should be feasible. Not everything that is imaginable is feasible. Now not everything that is possible is feasible. Now next, not everything that is technically feasible makes good business sense. That is not feasible in business environment. These are the three things that we consider in feasibility study step. Means that whatever we imagine is not always feasible, whatever is possible is not always feasible, and whatever is technically feasible is not actually feasible in business environment. Now three main questions about the feasibility of a project. Again three questions I repeat. Does it contribute to the overall objective of the organization? Means on which you are preparing your project or you have collected your data, is if it is fulfilling the requirements, if the system is actually you are preparing is object to that specifications, and can it be implemented using current technology? Means that nowadays technology is changing day by day, means that the technology you are opting is feasible for that system again? Can it be implemented using current technology within cost and schedule constraints? Now, can it be integrated with existing systems? Means the data transfer and procedures, whatever it is, whatever it can be. Now, feasibility checkpoints, where we always check the feasibility, means where what are the steps that we do is before starting any project. First one is the planning. When you do planning, after that there is analysis of that planning, means whatever you have planned the project, you must analyze that project. Now next is business requirements, means you have collected the requirements and there is design, and then you design the system, what will actually the look of your software or the system or the project. Now next is technical design. Technical design means actual implementation of that system. Now next is product system, means provided support or the maintenance to that project that you have implemented here. Now existing system must be there for the maintenance or for the supports. Now on each point there is a feasibility check, where we check the feasibility. Planning, when we do planning, then again we check the feasibility of the system. When we analyze the system, then again we check the feasibility of the system at the time of designing, implementation, and again at the time of support or the maintenance we check the feasibility of that systems, that if the project or the system is feasible at that time or not. Is it clear actually what the feasibility study is? Now next, when you prepare your projects, what you do actually is project preparation versus project cycle. A project preparation makes a cycle. First one, there is strategical and sectoral consideration, and then the project identification. First of all, what you do is you identify your project, what you actually have to do before implementing anything. You decide, this is project identification. You identify your project, what type of project you have to prepare. Again there is feasibility study. I again repeat, on every step feasibility study is working to check whether the project is feasible, whether you are expanding a cost on that project or you are gaining a benefit from that project or not. And at the time of identification of the project, you consider the feasibility step. This is called as pre-feasibility study. Then there is implementation planning. Now before implementation planning, there is project preparation. You do the preparation of that project. When you do the project preparation, at that time again feasibility study works, and you do the implementation planning and the startup and project execution and then the sustainability of that project. Now again what you consider is the feasibility study at the time of project preparation. Clear how and when feasibility study works? I have already told you that whenever you are preparing any system or any product or any software, at each step designing, analysis, requirement, feasibility study works. This is a pre-feasibility study, that means before starting the implementation of that project, means at the time of project identification. When you prepare your project, again feasibility study should be in your mind. What is feasibility study? Again I tell you, to decide whether you are the project that you are preparing, whether it is beneficial, whether it is fulfilling the requirement of the user or not, whether it is practical, or whether the technology you are using is feasible for that system or not. Means this is a feasibility study on which you analyze your project, that if it will fulfill the requirement of the user or not. Now next is the objectives of the feasibility study is to identify the problems in the current system, to determine objectives of proposed systems, to determine whether it is good decision to develop the new system, to provide enough information to management to take decision. Means that whenever you consider the feasibility study in your mind while preparing any system or any product, your product will be very much beneficial if you have already studied the feasibility study steps. Now next is need of the feasibility study. To determine the potential goals of the existing system, means that the project or product you are preparing is potential and you are fulfilling the goals of the users. To determine the problem of existing system, you can determine the problems at the time of support or maintenance in the existing systems. to suggest alternate feasible solutions, and to determine what hardware and software is required for the proposed system. Clear? Now, next is steps in feasibility study. First one, there is a form a project team and appoint a leader. Prepare system flow charts, how actually your system will work. Enumerate potential candidate systems and identify the characteristics of candidate system. Clear how actually feasibility starts. These steps you follow while studying the feasibility of that system. Now, the types of the feasibility study. Note down this. What are the types of the feasibility study? This is also important for your examination also. One is the technical feasibility. Then is the economical feasibility. Each feasibility type is explaining in the name. Technical feasibility means something related with the technical or technologies, and economical means something with cost or benefits. Operational means it should be operational or not. Social or behavior feasibility, management feasibility, time feasibility, and last one is the legal feasibility. Now, the technical feasibility. What is the technical feasibility? The analyst studies the existing system, hardware and the software, and determine whether these technical resources are sufficient for proposed system or not. If not sufficient, then analyst suggest the configuration for proposed systems. Clear? I again repeat, what is the technical feasibility? The analyst study the existing system. What includes in the existing system? That is hardware and the software, and on the basis of that study, he or she determine whether these technical resources means that hardware and the resources are sufficient for the proposed system that we are going to rebuild again or not. If not, then analysts suggest the configuration for proposed system. Means the technical feasibility, to provide the technicality of that system, means hardware and software are sufficient, or if we need more than that, then it should be there. Now, next is technical feasibility. Check out three major issues. One is the proposed technology or solution is practical? Next is, do we currently have necessary technology? And next is, do we possesses the necessary technical expertise? Now, what actually it is, I will just explain you. Practicality of the technology, whether the technology can be easily applied to the problems of the organization. Clear? Next is, some organizations prefer to implement latest and state of art technology. And next is, while some may prefer to use mature and prevent technologies, depends upon the user's requirement. Next is possession of necessary technology. Is the technology available in the current market? Means these are all the steps, all the checks that we do in the feasibility study. If available, do we have the capacity to buy and implement that technology? And next is that particular technology satisfy the required conditions? Means all aspects we have to consider in our mind before planning, at the time of planning and before implementing that any project that we are on working. Now, next is possession of technical expertise. Do we have the required technical experts needed for the proposed technology? Do staff have required skills for doing job related with proposed technology? Clear what type of aspects we must have to consider before implementing any project or any product or any system or any software. These are all the steps that we consider in feasibility study. Now, economical feasibility. Economical means that is related with cost or benefits. It determines the cost and benefits of the proposed system and compares with proposed budget. If the cost outweigh the budget, then analysts think over this proposed project, whether to continue this project or not. This is again the feasibility study. If we have not more than sufficient money, then we cannot prepare any project. So, we have to decide, the developer must have to decide whether to continue with that project or not. Next is economical feasibility major issues. Is the project justified? That is, will it give us some profit or not? What is the minimal cost to attain a certain system? How soon will the benefit starts? And find out total cost and all benefits of the proposed systems. Clear what is economical feasibility and what are the major issues that we consider while this study. Now, cost to be considered under economical feasibility, that is one time cost or recurring cost. One time cost, as the name is applying, means the cost that we spend that is only one time, and the recurring cost that we spend with time and time by time. Now, one time cost involve following: cost converting existing system to proposed system, means we have some existing system, we want to modify that system, that is the proposed system. So, how much cost is required for that? This is one time cost. Cost to remodel architecture of the office machineries and the rooms. Cost of hardware, this is again the one time cost. Cost of operating softwares, this is again one time cost. Application softwares, cost of training, and cost of documentation preparation, these all are included in one time cost. Now, the recurring cost. Recurring cost means that we spend after implementing an project, that is cost involves in purchase or rental of equipment. This is we pay time by time. And next is cost of mobile communication equipments. Next is cost of salaries of employees, and next is the cost of maintenance of equipments. Clear what type of cost we include in recurring cost? I repeat that cost involves in purchase or rental of any equipment, that you have taken any equipment for that product on rent and you pay some money with time by time on that project for that equipment only. And cost of mobile communication equipments, and cost of salaries of employees, and the cost of maintenance of equipments, these all are included in recurring cost. Now, the operational feasibility. This was economical feasibility that we were doing. Now, this is operational feasibility. Operational feasibility is what it determines whether the proposed system operate in the way that end users and the management want. It also measures the acceptability of the solutions. I repeat, what is operational feasibility? It determines whether the proposed system operate in the way that end users and the management want. Means the system is fulfilling the requirement of the users and the management that they want. And it also measures the acceptability of the solution. Means that the product or the system or the software that you have developed is accepted by the users or by the management. Now, operational feasibility major issues. Is the problem worth solving, or will the solution to the problem work? And next is acceptability of the potential solution, means that if any problem occurs, then there must be a solution that always be ready for that problem, and it should be acceptable by the management and acceptable by the users at that time. Now, next is the problem worth solving? Means to find whether the problem is worth solving or solution will work or not, we decided a pieces framework. Pieces framework includes P includes performance, information, economy, control, again economy, E stands for, and the services. Means that if the problem occurs, which type of solution should be there, we decides on the pieces framework, that is performance of the system, information that we have collected economically, and control and the services that we provide on that systems. Now, acceptability means acceptability of potential solution, means does management support the project? How do end users feel about their role in new system? Again, can end user and the management adapt to change? Means that you have developed one system and they require to change something in that project, then which type of change they want, what type of supports we need at that time, is it acceptable by the user or the management, how much cost you are spending on that, these all are the included in this acceptability of potential solution in operational feasibility. Now, the social feasibility. It is a determination of whether a proposed project will acceptable to people or not. Socially means the project that you are going, the product or the system on which you are working is acceptable by all the users or not. Means that it is a determination of whether a proposed project will acceptable to people or not on which you are working. Now, the determination typically examines the portability of the project being accepted by the group. Clear? What is social? Social means socially. The project you are preparing must be socially accepted by all. This is the social feasibility. Now next, management feasibility. As the name again is applying, it is determination of whether the proposed project is acceptable to the management or not. If not, it is considered to be not feasible. We usually say project is feasible, product is feasible, it is not feasible. Feasible means whenever any project is fulfilling all the requirement of the users or the management or any organization that you are developing. If you develop a project or a product or a system, we say it is not feasible, means that it is not acceptable by the users, means it is not fulfilling the requirement of that users or the management or the organization for which you have prepared that project. Clear? What is management feasibility? Now next is time feasibility. It is determination of whether a proposed project can be implemented fully within given time frame or not. It is a main constraint on which we follow the instructions that you have to prepare a product or system in a specific time limit. If you do not do this, it may not be feasible. We say that it may not be accepted by the market, by the user or by the management or by the organization for which you were developing that software. I again repeat, time feasibility. It is determination of whether a proposed project can be implemented fully within given time frame or not. Can the project deadlines be met? This is again a feasibility study that we consider in our mind before developing any project. Now next is legal feasibility. As the name again is applying, legal, that follows all the laws and the instructions by the rules that are fixed for that product. It is the determination of whether a proposed project abides by all the laws and the regulations or not. Obviously, if any project is not following the laws, means it is again not feasible project or product or the system. If it is following the instructions and laws and rules, then we say that the project is feasible or the project is accepted by the users or the management. Now, aspects of feasibility analysis input to the financial and socio-economic analysis. First of all, whenever you consider the project feasibility, what type of feasibility instructions you consider in your mind? One is the financial analysis. Next is economic analysis, means cost and the benefits that you consider in your mind. Social and stakeholder analysis means the product you are developing must be accepted by all. Next is environment analysis, again what is in the market, what all they want, is the project is feasible for that environment or not. And the institutional analysis means on which basis you have created your project. This is the project feasibility, means that all aspects you have to consider. It must be accepted by the market, it must be in the market, that means competitive for another projects, and economical means cost and benefits should must also be considered. These are all aspects in the feasibility study that we consider in our mind before developing any project. Clear? Now next is financial and economical analysis works together, and these are all that are linked with each other whenever we are implementing any project. Feasible financial analysis depends upon environmental analysis. Obviously, if the market rates are increasing day by day of any product, means our financial analysis will matter for that. And again, institutional analysis means the requirements. If these are changing day by day, then our project must require changes in that. And again, technical analysis means the new technologies coming in the market. Then what will you do? Again, your project feasibility will start. Means that these are all linked with each other whenever we are considering the feasibility study, we are doing any feasibility study for any specific project. This is the main part of our system development life cycle. If we study this very clearly, then we must be aware of that if our project that on which we are working will be accepted in the market or will be accepted by the user and must be beneficial for us. And next is cost and benefit analysis. This is done to find economic feasibility. I have already told about you about this concept cost and benefit analysis to you. This is done to find economic feasibility of proposed solution and to find whether returns by implementing a system justify the cost? After knowing the cost of the system, the comparison is made with benefits provided by the system. We all are very much aware of this, that if we expend some cost on any product, we must want some benefits from that product, and if the benefits are not sufficient, means the cost we are spending on that project is very much, then we have to consider some constraints for that project, means that it must be beneficial for the developer who is developing